think you have to think about breathing as a runner. Breath becomes everything.
Right now, the worst air in the country is actually hovering over Salt Lake City, Utah.
A bunch of us gather to race up and down this mountain to improve air quality, both in our valley and beyond.
I think you have to think about breathing as a runner and the connection to breath itself. Breath becomes everything. It's the thing that sustains us. And so why do we care about air?
We all know air pollution is a problem, but a new study indicates that it is worse than scientists thought.
For the first time in 15 years, the World Health Organization has updated its...
Barely visible in the smog, Delhi's iconic India Gate.
A thick haze of smoke blanketed 7 parts of northern China on Friday.
Scientists say some of the most dangerous pollutants are fossil fuels.
Burning a proposal in the legislature to help clear up Utah's air. It would cut pollution in half.
Or Phoenix probably comes to mind, but right now the worst air in the country is actually hovering over Salt Lake City, Utah.
For clean air is 35 micrograms of pollution per cubic meter. Salt Lake hit 130 micrograms this past week.
I think we've got about 3 minutes. We just wanted to say a few things before you start. First off, thanks so much for coming. Let's see, conditions. Trail is better than I've seen it. I think it's going to be amazing. The air is terrible. If you had a respirator, I wouldn't be opposed to wearing it. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
We are here in beautiful Utah, Church Fork, Salt Lake City, for the 7th annual RUFA. Weather's holding nice, and we've got 160 runners that are gonna run up this peak as many times as they possibly can. Got a great crew out here this morning to make sure what goes up also comes down and then goes back up again and then comes down and up and down and up and down.
This is never a wise choice to run up and down a 3,000-foot peak as many times as you can, but it sure is a fun choice.
We're doing running up for air, the 6-hour, we're on our second lap now. Is it Sunday yet? I want to quit.
It's kind of an extreme event.
How was that?
It's good, I can't see.
The numbness, the pain.
Eventually I've checked out. I just need to get my body down.
Yeah.
So tell me about the air in Salt Lake City.
It's so bad that I live in Virgin, Utah.
Yeah, my wife's a big trail runner, but she didn't even sign up for this race because she thought it might be a bad air day and she couldn't run.
Running Up for Air is a fundraising event for Breathe Utah. We're trying to get some money for this group that works on air quality issues for Salt Lake, and at the same time do what we do best, run up and down mountains.
I'm not exactly sure how many times I've been out for RUFA. Those early ones were pretty wild. I mean, it would be a group of us meeting with Jared. The aid station was the back of his car, and we'd do laps until we were toast, and then Jared would keep going.
What's your reason for getting out here and doing this?
A couple reasons. One, I love Jared Campbell.
I wish Jared would get some T-posts and some placards, and we could just like put them along the trail with all little air facts, you know.
This is really the Jared Campbell fan club.
You didn't come here for the neighborhood turkey trot, did you? A lot of people have like seasonal depression, right? And in the wintertime they get bummed out. Well, put a race on your schedule in February, which will force you to get out and train, and you find yourself a really happy person through those months that a lot of people aren't that happy. I love running in the winter.
Oh, shit. Jared, he's the rock star in this valley. To me, you know, he's just a friend, although I'll admit, you know, sometimes I like, whoa, Jared, whoa, you know, it's like, Jared, yeah.
Most people know Jared in the trail running world because of his athletic accomplishments. Like he's won Hard Rock, I don't know, like 1 million times in Barkley and done every route in the Wasatch, blah, blah, blah. He's an insane athlete, but that's just a fraction of who he is.
And he has this ability to take the seemingly impossible and make it not only probable, but totally doable.
Thank you. Can you get this on? I hope this is on camera. A little heavy petting there.
So I'm Jared Campbell from Park City, Utah. Or do you want me to more? I'll say more too if you want, whatever.
Extreme post holing. Whoever thought you could redline at 0.1 miles per hour?
Negative miles per hour.
15 years ago, I was one of the only people out there post holing up peaks in the winter. Smarter people were out skiing or snowshoeing or something like that. But that winter, I happened to be doing lots of laps up and down this peak. At the time, I was also running a lot of long races, which required a bunch of training. And the effect that had on me was repeatedly climbing up and out of the pollution. I was seeing it 4 times, 5 times, 8 times, let's say, as I was doing laps. And every time, I'm plunging back down in, just going, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And like, I'm living down there. My family's living down there. This is not good. But as a runner, you see it, you feel it. And so I decided to do something about it.
20 seconds.
I created RUFA, which has become this incredible event where a bunch of us gather to race up and down this mountain for 24 hours to raise awareness and money to improve air quality, both in our valley and beyond. We started with 3 people at the base of the peak. That grew to 30, that grew to 300. But it has really grown into this incredible global thing. And as that grows, I do think good change comes out of it.
One of the tools of air pollution science is the time-lapse film. One picture is exposed every 11 seconds throughout the day, compressing many hours into a few minutes on the screen.
Several years ago, I just wanted to capture time-lapse imagery of what I see up here. You can see the buildup of an air pollution episode when the temperatures drop in the valley, the pollution will start to build. And as the sun rises up, you'll see also it really build and sort of lift up. I'm sure there's some temperature component to that, where that pollution level builds up, and it'll like flow into the canyons.
The pollution fills in below the base of the inversion. As the hours pass, the inversion slowly rises.
Until you compress time to where you're watching, the daylight hours of a day in the winter squished down to 20 or 30 seconds, you can't see that. The pollution sort of lapping up on the foothills here, much like waves lap up on a beach.
So this thing starts off rotated there to the east and then just turns throughout the day, tracking the sun. What does that do? That provides us a very good integrated look at the total amount of emissions from the entire city. I gotta think the runners are among the most keenly aware of this problem because they need to breathe, right? I'm not much of a runner myself, but I gotta think during those terrible pollution events, they probably feel it in their lungs. And there's lots of research from the medical researchers showing the air quality problem causing respiratory problems. And that is such an important part of running. It affects kids more because their lungs are still developing. I'm a father, I have small kids. It's also personal for me, right?
I just decided on a whim to sign up for this. It's nice to be out here with all these other people to raise money for Breathe Utah. There's some bills that we're fighting and some we're opposing this legislative session because it really can be infuriating with the air quality in Salt Lake where you feel like you can't do anything. And so It's really cool that Jared Campbell started this event as a way to get the ultra running community involved. It's nice to be able to take an action.
Yeah, we're almost ready to get you some big kid running shoes, huh?
Dad, why are you taking a video of us putting on our shoes?
When I wind the clock back far enough, about 23 years ago now, I lost some really key people. I lost a father, I lost a grandfather, and an uncle all in a short period of time. I was about 20 years old and just had questions when medical professionals can't really give you answers. I mean, cancer is a pretty nebulous thing, and that's what took all three of them. At the time, there wasn't a ton of research out there about the effects of air pollution. But living in Salt Lake City, that's just part of your life. Like, you just know in the winter that we have these crazy episodic events of really bad, unhealthy air. Fast forward a handful of years, and I'm married and about to bring children into the world. And I kind of came back to that set of questions, you know, like, what is this? What am I bringing a child into from a health standpoint? And that's kind of where it started. And I said, how do I take this thing that I'm experiencing and this training that I was doing and turn it into something good?
When you think about what any of us can do, you know, the things we do to try and make our homes more energy efficient, or driving a car that's less carbon intensive, all those things are things we can do individually, and they matter. But it's the work that we do collectively that really matters so much more. I think it is really important to have actions that come from the ground up, to be based in the community and have people be working together on a common goal. How do we make sure that our representatives understand the issues?
If everyone did just a little thing, then it might make a little bit of difference. Doesn't have to be a lot, or it can be a lot. You can be raising hell all over the world, or you can be someone that decides to not idle your car while you're waiting for your kid at school.
RUFA is about a core group of people getting together to use running as a way to raise awareness about pollution and make a difference. And that's what it started as, and that's what it is now.
You're strong. Thank you.
I have to run this 6 hour RUFA. The AQI is 145, and means there's a lot of particulate matter in the air.
All right, good?
Yeah, that's good.
We should start our thing like right in like 7 minutes, because we seem to run long, like last time we did.
Yeah.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Everybody has a starting point. The first mile is often the hardest because your mind knows what's ahead. It's the preparation and seeing the big vision that keeps you going in those early miles. And as you chip away at the thing, you find yourself 50 miles in, halfway through, right? And all of a sudden, you can start to see where you're trying to go. I love that process, from daunting impossible to counting down the final steps to the finish line.
Close your eyes and tell me that the sky is coming down. It's breaking at the seam.
And I love that about almost anything that seems impossible. If you stop because your thought process is that your individual actions won't by themselves produce change, will never change.
Coming down the trails, what do you think?
Oh, this is completely unhinged. Like, it's just fucking wild. I can't believe that this is a thing.
It's an experience of a lifetime, for sure.
This work is not the work of one person. Jared would tell you it's not his work, but it's our work. He just happens to be the person breaking trail for us most of the time.
I'm one of those that still believes in revolution. Yeah, I'm one of those that still believes in a solution.
We accomplish these things that seem almost impossible. In fact, most humans never show up to the start line, right? The thought of running 50 miles, 100 miles just seems too hard. Many of the environmental issues are very similar. To a lot of folks, they just don't even know where to start and don't. And I think running up for air is trying to take that same mindset and say, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to go chip away at this.
Don't you tell me this is how the world is gonna end. I wanna fall.
With people like Jared Campbell at the helm and all these other smart people working, we'll get there. I don't know where there is, but I have hope. Like, I don't think we're doomed.
Trying to put a value on air is impossible. And as a human, it drives your life force. And so why do we care about air? Because we care about people. When you see someone take their last breath, that changes you. When you see someone take their first breath, it changes you. And when you think of a whole community not being able to breathe, when you're standing on the top of grandeur looking at them struggling, it changes you.
But long ago I made a pact and I intend to keep it. As long as I am breathing, I'm gonna keep believing. Long ago I made a pact, I intend to keep it. As long as I am breathing, I'm gonna keep believing. That from far away, yeah, it's amazing.
Put some of that and some of that, but turn it over so they don't see it, and we'll call it a breakfast burrito. Because there ain't no Denny's nearby, so it's us or nobody.
In the dark of morning, I'll catch a leaving train. I'll ride the box of coal, well, I'll feel that thunder's ring.
You gonna do another lap?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Sick! I'm proud of you, little lady.
Am I rubbed in?
As much as this stuff rubs in, yeah. Yeah.
Back to the rising sun, the rising sun, the rising sun. Back to a place not easily forgotten. Don't wanna cry no more, no cry no more, no cry no more. Come rest your head, come walk within the garden. Yes, I hear, well, I hear your mother calling.